Hi, I'm Kinsley reporting for Kids First, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with Barry Levy, creator, showrunner, and executive producer for Apple TV Plus's latest original series, Me, premiering July 12, 2024. Levy has worked on television projects for NBC, Amazon, CBS, FX, and the CW, and has written screenplays for all the major studios. He's executive producer for the Crackle series Startup, writer for LA's Finest, screenwriter for Paranoia, and created the original screenplay for Vantage Point. Today, we are talking about Me. Thank you, Mr. Levy, for joining me on the show.
Excellent. Thank you for having me.
Me gave me chills throughout the whole season. I loved the show, and I'm excited to talk to you about it. Let's get to it.
Absolutely.
Me follows Ben, a 12-year-old dealing with a new school, new family, and newly discovered powers. What inspired you to create this show?
So I have identical twin daughters, and I have a son who's like 2 years younger than they are. But he, growing up, has always been tall for his age. So he looked like a triplet. And yet, the minute he opened his mouth, people knew he wasn't their age. He sounded younger, and he had to figure out for himself who did he want to be. And that became a discussion. And then it became like a bedtime story that we would tell. Who does my son's name, just like the character, is Ben? Who does Ben want to be? And if you could be anyone in the world, who do you want to be? And out of that sprang this idea about a boy who could be anyone. And he just had to figure out who did he want to be.
I love that. My dad is actually a twin. The
Right.
special effects in Me are amazing. I especially love Ben's changing voices and how only one part of his body is different, such as his ear. What was the most challenging effect to create?
The most challenging of effects, honestly, our effects team was so good that there were very few that were even difficult at all. We knew that when we sent back comments or notes, they were always so receptive. I mean, that storm sequence was fantastic, coming together and how the collaboration worked. Similar to those transformations. The one around the birthday scene was awesome, and it never was a challenge working together as a team to get there.
Yeah, they all amazed me.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Glad.
I really enjoyed watching the superpowers develop in all of the characters. How did you decide the characters' superpowers?
From the first time I met with Apple, that I wanted to build the Apple Cinematic Universe. Obviously, in success, that was the goal. And so each time when we explained to them why there were these characters, we explained, just like in the first episode, what the trauma and what the power that would come from that trauma, how that would manifest, how we would come to understand each of these characters. And then the goal would be to someday have the opportunity to tell each of their stories, how they became themselves.
Without giving anything away, what was your favorite scene to film?
There's the scene in the 7th episode where Max, Abby, has a 4-minute scene in a dressing room that she has to perform all by herself. And it is by far just mind-blowing for me how it came together, how many people sort of lent their expertise to make it so special.
Describe one of the most memorable behind-the-scene moments from the show.
Oh, wow. Behind the scene moments. I have to think now. We, as a group, both the production team, but also the cast, we all had sort of special jokes and connections that made, long days and challenging experiences always fun. I'm sure, in fact, I think I saw this in your interview with River and Abby. They talked about their secret handshakes and the games that they would play. Obviously, we were working. We didn't always play games, but there was always an understanding that the production environment had to be a positive environment, and it had to be collaborative. People had to feel comfortable sharing new ideas because that might make for a better outcome. And it always was fun. And that's not always the case, but it really was here.
The characters in the show are perfectly cast. How involved were you in the casting of the show?
So I was incredibly involved, and it was a really long process. We went over 6 months searching for, in particular, a Ben and then a Max, because they not only had to be great performers, but they had to be great together. We needed to really see that these two could feel like siblings because so much of the series is not like a normal superhero series. It's like a brother and sister story that just so happens to involve super heroics.
As a middle schooler myself, I can identify with how difficult middle school life can be. What made you decide to focus on middle school characters as opposed to high schoolers?
Wow, that's a good question. You know what? I never even thought about the high school experience. I knew for me that I wanted to capture what my kids were either going through or were about to go through. And so that at the time my twins were in middle school. My son was in 5th grade, and when the process started. And so as he went into middle school, we were capturing middle school. And so that became a really clear way of having almost like a focus group because I would show them, here's what we're going to do. And sometimes they were like, no, 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 you're not doing that. And that was also helpful to sort of make sure it always felt grounded and real because we're doing something that isn't necessarily real, but we wanted everything we could to feel like it was authentic and true.
The tagline for me is Be Your Own Hero. Why do you feel this message is important for young audiences?
Well, I think that the lessons that we all worked on to imbue in the character of Ben were to be true to himself. And so the only way that Ben can really become his best, the best that he can be is by embracing who he is. And so be your own hero, I think, implies just that you have the capacity to do extraordinary things. But in order to do extraordinary things, you have to find it in yourself.
Thank you for talking with me, Barry Levy. Me premieres on Apple TV Plus Friday, July 12th, 2024. Be sure to check it out. Thanks for talking with me.
You
Bye.
got it.
I'm Kinsley reporting for Kids First. Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel to stay informed about upcoming films. Thank you. Bye.